What's up, residents? Hope you're all doing well. Last time on all the giant monsters in Godzilla history, we went over all the kaiju who appeared during the Showa or original era of Godzilla films. Now, to continue this series, we'll be opening the vaults to showcase the mighty monsters of the Heisei era, the time period where many of us became fans of the Big G-Man. So this should be a real blast. Godzilla during this era took a drastic turn from his heroic roots of the majority of the Showa era and became much more of a villain, or at the very least, a chaotic neutral role, which ended in the climactic finale where Godzilla became instantly volatile and earned the name Burning Godzilla. The G-Man's history as a whole was changed up for this era, and we'll spend some time going over that in this video. Just a heads up, we won't be including Mothra and Rodan on this list, since their appearance in the Heisei era remains mostly unchanged. For this list, we'll be focusing on either new monsters or kaiju that have seen significant changes between eras. But before we get into it, we just wanted to inform you about our merch store over on Teespring, where we have all sorts of monster-related products that you can buy. And with Valentine's Day coming up next month, there's no better way to celebrate than buying your significant other a Dangerville hoodie. Now let's not waste any more time. I'm Alistair, and welcome to Dangerville. Biollante. This monster was the first of many things for this era of kaiju films, the first to appear in the Heisei era, the first kaiju to be plant-based, and the first monster, at least to my knowledge, that was derived from both the cells of a plant, more specifically a rose, Godzilla himself, and the DNA of a dead woman. Created by Dr. Shiragami by splicing the DNA of his daughter, Erika Shiragami, with the cells of Godzilla and that of a rosebush, since roses were her favorite flower. Biollante went on to become a massive threat for Godzilla. The G-Man eventually defeated the Biomonster, and her remains drifted into the atmosphere, which eventually helped to create one of the next monsters on this list. Biollante has only been seen in one Godzilla film, and it just so happens to be one of the hardest in the series to acquire. But the monster has still gone on to gain a popularity amongst kaiju fans for her unique design and backstory, and went on to be an OP character in the 2007 game Godzilla Unleashed. Godzillasaurus. One interesting thing about the Heisei era was how the creators played with Godzilla's origins. In the 1991 Toho film, Godzilla vs. King Ghidorah, Godzilla originated from a dinosaur-like creature found on a forgotten island called Godzillasaurus. This creature was mighty, but not anything as monstrous as the G-Man we are used to seeing. But after the creature was severely wounded by human forces, time travelers from the future came back to bring the wounded Godzillasaurus to the area of the planet where nuclear tests were constantly taking place in hopes it would kill the beast and not allow the true Godzilla to ever come into existence. As you probably can imagine, that completely didn't work, and the time travelers actually ended up being the ones who created Godzilla. Yeah, the Heisei era went a little nuts with its lore. Another Godzillasaurus egg was eventually discovered, and after it hatched, it was soon after adopted by Godzilla, and over time, due to being near Godzilla and his mighty spewing radiation, the baby Godzillasaurus transformed into another mighty Godzilla. Introducing the Dorats, genetically engineered pets from the future created by a group of people called the Futurians. These time travelers brought the three Dorats back in time before Japan was able to become an economical super country in hopes of crippling the country's future ambitions. They left the Dorats in the same island where Godzillasaurus was found, and after some time, the Dorats were exposed to massive nuclear bomb testings in the area, which, you guessed it, morphed the three Furby-looking pets into the mighty King Ghidorah. King Ghidorah was no stranger to the series, being the big bad guy of the Showa era, but the devil with three heads took a dramatic transformation in the Heisei era after suffering a brutal loss to Godzilla. Going back to the crazy time-traveling plot of this particular movie, the normal Ghidorah was defeated in 1992 by Godzilla, but thanks to the Futurians finding the body of Monster Zero 200 years in the future and using the technology of that time, they created the cyborg Mecha King Ghidorah. They then sent him back in time once again to fight Godzilla in the year 1992, and succeeded in halting Godzilla's rampage at that time. Are you still with me? Good, let's keep going. Mothra was a massive hit during the Showa era, so the Heisei era set out to create a yin to Mothra's yang in the form of Batra. Legend has it that the ancient race of humans was able to control Earth's climate, so in retaliation, Mother Earth herself created Batra, a dark version of Mothra more or less. This monster's sole purpose was to destroy the device that controlled the climate, but after doing so, Batra was still unhappy with humanity as a whole and set out to eradicate the entire species of mankind. After multiple defeats, Batra eventually settled down and came to terms with Mothra as the two worked together to fight Godzilla, who was, as we know, much more of a villain during the Heisei era. Mechagodzilla appeared in the Showa era, but was re-envisioned for the Heisei era in the form of the much more sleek and powerful Mechagodzilla 2. Built by humanity in order to face off with Godzilla, this giant mech came short in the first battle with Godzilla. After numerous repairs, the addition of a superweapon capable of severely injuring Godzilla and throwing on the ship Garuda, Mechagodzilla was now Super Mechagodzilla. This beefed up version of Mecha G-Man had Godzilla on the ropes till Rodan came into the picture and sacrificed himself, reviving Godzilla and giving him all the power he needed to destroy this bucket of bolts. Even with the destruction of Mechagodzilla, humanity was not done with its mech-building campaign to fight off Godzilla. Introducing Mothra. Little did they know that Godzilla was not the worst thing coming. Space Godzilla, the monster we will focus on next, burst onto the scene and made quick work of Mothra in outer space before the alien monster was even on the surface of the planet. After falling down from Earth and being repaired, Mothra was once again set forth to fight the now known Space Godzilla on the surface of the planet, but this time with the help of Godzilla. So now let's talk about this Space Godzilla. Personally, my favorite kaiju, he was created by what most believe to be the cells of Godzilla that came from Biollante's demise that drifted into space and then got trapped in a black hole, which began to grow crystalline organisms and then rapidly evolved by sucking energy from nearby stars, eventually forming into the beast that we see in the movie. This kaiju was the only one in the Heisei era to be of extraterrestrial origin, which is a drastic change from the Showa era's constant alien threats. And this out-of-this-world birth gave Space Godzilla a bunch of awesome abilities. Able to use psychic attacks, shoot energy beams, and fly through space and the atmosphere without any wings, and being able to create and use crystals in multiple ways. Space Godzilla was a true brute and one of the most powerful monsters to ever challenge Godzilla. He himself, being derived from Godzilla, is partially to blame for this, as Space Godzilla is simply a cloned version of the G-Man, but with even more powers. Space Godzilla set out to Earth to defeat his Earthbound sibling and claim the planet as his own. But as we talked about before, Godzilla, with the help of the mech Mothra, was able to kill Space Godzilla and end his conquest. The grand finale, the monster that put fear into the eyes of Godzilla himself, Destroyer. When the Oxygen Destroyer was used to kill the very original Godzilla back in the 50s, the effects of the weapon created something even more deadly than Godzilla. Multiple life forms, known as Precambrian crustaceans, were revived due to being exposed to the Oxygen Destroyer. After many decades, these life forms evolved into terrifying creatures that breached the surface of the oceans and started to attack anything in sight. With the ability to morph together and grow much larger, these smaller life forms eventually grew into the demonic behemoth, Destroyer. Destroyer took on Burning Godzilla, which was the most powerful version of Godzilla ever seen till that point, and he kicked his ass, proving just how strong Destroyer really was. Over time though, the massive heat spewing from Godzilla, along with the special weapons known as the ULT cryo lasers, was just enough to kill Destroyer. So that concludes our list on all the new and modified monsters of the Heisei era of Godzilla movies. If you like this video and want us to continue these monster lists into the Millennium era, then make sure to like and share this video and comment down below which is your favorite giant monster. And don't forget to subscribe and stomp that notification button to become a resident of Dangerville today. Thank you for sticking with me on this video. We'll see you residents in the next one.